Welcome to another episode of The Spin. Wow, man. Lots of news, and lots of good things happening, and not really any bad things happening, but probably bad for liberals and stuff like that. Also, I got a guest to sit there participate in the news to give his little commentary because I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen none of these, and I just like to do it this way because then you get a real and pure opinion on what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add John to the stream. What's up, John? How you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up?
Oh man, kicking back, man. Well, as I said, it's very interesting today. That's what's happening, especially with Georgia and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
how that's all going on. And also, let's see, I'm going to go through that. Yeah, then Biden's official slam at the slow transition of the Trump administration. That's from the Washington Post, so that should be a good one. So I just picked that one out. And then I have Sydney dropping names over the GOP for the GOP crooks under the investigation, and Trump's legal team presents clear and variable path to victory. And I got and Sydney Powell the phone call, which basically that's the one that's they said it will be biblical. And then dealing with California, the Huntington, California protest that went very, very well, and anger toward BLM anger toward peaceful Trump supporters. This was from Will Smith's channel. And then also some more stuff on the live of the California rejects the curfew lockdown. So all in all, man, I think we got a pretty good show. So howdy, everybody. Let me call everybody out. That'd be pro-life warrior. Wish you can come on, but I know you're sick. That's understandable. You all right? You okay, John?
Yeah, I'm okay. Hey, I sent you that link to Marie Bartoloma because they had Alan Dershowitz on there, and he was saying he's a Democrat, right?
Right.
Anyway, he said that she asked specifically, is there a path for Trump, to come back and win this election? And he
Yeah,
said
okay.
there is a path. He says if they can, not so much about people not being allowed to watch the voting and stuff, because he said
Right.
those are like smaller numbers. But he said as far as the Dominion software, if they can prove that, then they have a good chance of maybe overturning things.
Right. It's just something. It's something like man, I'll tell you what though. I mean, the Dominion thing, that's just big, especially what happened real quick, you know what I'm saying? Excuse me, I got to sneeze. My allergies are kicking my ass 'cause it's like hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And what we'll do is we'll get to the first one with the what was it, Trump legal team. Excuse me, I knew that was coming. And let
Yeah.
me see, make sure I got
No,
the
he's
right
not on
one.
his team anymore. See, he was only on the impeachment, but he's no longer on Trump's legal team. So that's why I say he's kind of like a I don't want to say neutral, but because he's still a Democrat, but he's still
Well,
willing to admit that there is a way. It's not over yet.
right, right, right. Oh man, hell no, it's not over yet. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to get here.
And
Oops,
because everybody was
good.
throwing out that all that case was dismissed yesterday. That's why I sent you that official letter that they put out, Rudy Giuliani, regarding that
Yeah, I saw that
dismissal
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yeah, I'll definitely put that up. But right here, well, which one was that? That was one of the sentences. I got these all on
The
tabs.
letter,
No, I got these tabs
oh, the
already
letter, it's
free.
on Messenger.
Oh yeah, I got that. I got that because I have a whole bunch of tabs
Yeah,
all the way down my thing. All right, this is OAN, right? They were talking about the legal team presents clear and variable path to victory, and it's OAN. This is basically only one of the only real news that's pretty much accurate that I can sit there and I can that we can actually look at due to Fox and all the mother cats. Let's see what they have to say about this.
Laid out what they call a clear and viable path to victory for President Trump's second term in the fight for the White House. Chief White House correspondent Chanel Rian has this report.
A leaner, meaner guerrilla team of legal all-stars for the Trump campaign unveiled what they call a clear pathway to victory. Lead attorney Rudy Giuliani, accompanied by Sidney Powell, Joe DeGeneva, Victoria Tensing, Jenna Ellis, and Boris Epstein, unveiled their six-state plan to the White House from the RNC headquarters Thursday.
The best way to describe this is when we began our representation of the president, we certainly were confronted with a very anomalous set of results. The president way ahead on election night, 700,000 or 800,000 in Pennsylvania. Somehow he lost Pennsylvania. We have statisticians willing to testify that that's almost statistically impossible to have happened in the period of time that it happened.
General Flynn's attorney, Sidney Powell, is leading the charge on making the case for widespread digital fraud. Major swing states used Dominion voting systems and its accompanying software, Smartmatic, and the inexplicable and impossible real-time data clearly showing that the machines were processing ballots in highly irregular ways.
What we are really dealing with here and uncovering more by the day is the massive influence of communist money through Venezuela, Cuba, and likely China in the interference with our elections here in the United States. The Dominion voting systems, the Smartmatic technology software, and the software that goes in other computerized voting systems here as well, not just Dominion. The world is watching this.
Jenna Ellis, the campaign's constitutional attorney, reminded media that this over 90-minute press conference was the team's opening statement. The law, the facts, and the truth are clearly on their side.
For those of you who are here in this room or have maybe tuned out in other networks, clearly you've never been court reporters. Trials take time. Putting on evidence takes time. This is basically an opening statement so the American people can understand what the networks have been hiding and what they refuse to cover, because all of your fake news headlines are dancing around the merits of this case and are trying to delegitimize what we are doing here. Let me be very clear that our objective is to make sure to preserve and protect election integrity. President Trump has been saying from day one that this is about maintaining free and fair elections in this country. It is not about overturning an outcome. It is about making sure that election integrity is preserved, and every American should want that.
One American News asked Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell a question as to the federal involvement in all their findings.
Mr. Mayor, thank you, and to Ms. Powell as well. Where is our FBI? And have they expressed any interest whatsoever in looking into allegations of voter fraud and election fraud that you have pointed out in these big states?
I don't know where the FBI has been for the last 3 years. I have no idea where the FBI has been for the last 4 years. Explain to me how the FBI concealed a memo in the hand of Brennan to Obama, saying that Hillary basically made up the Russian collusion plot. They withheld that for 4 years and cost our country $40 million and 2 impeachment, one attempted, one actual, and then an acquittal proceeding. I don't know where they've been. I don't know where they were on the hard drive. They got it 10 months ago. There are clear crimes revealed on it. Didn't do anything with that. I don't know where they are now. Our country has had its ballots counted, calculated, and manipulated in a foreign country with a company controlled by friends of an enemy of the United States. What do we have to do to get the FBI to wake up? Maybe we need a new agency to protect us.
In terms of the level of corruption we are looking at here, we have no idea how many Republican or Democratic candidates in any state across the country paid to have the system rigged to work for them. These people didn't do this just to take control. They make one heck of a lot of money off of it. Think about the global interests behind your own news organizations. Think about the pressure being brought to bear from the social media companies to shut down free speech on any challenge to the election. This is a massive, well-funded, coordinated effort to deprive we the people of the United States of our most fundamental right under the Constitution to preserve this republic that we all cherish.
The biggest voter fraud deniers? The media themselves. Chanel Rion, RNC headquarters, Washington.
Want to see?
Now, we sound like a broken record on this every day. That look, man. Okay, the numbers itself do not add up. You know, how could every state, you know what I'm saying, sit there and stop their count and then project a winner, knowing that especially the states that were, what's up, Mo? Man, you gotta come up on here, man. Because you haven't been up really. We got Maurice Delk in the house saying what's up, my home crew. What's happening, my brother, and stuff. Could you send him a link in his in his inbox?
Yeah.
John. Yeah. Well, anyways, we've been talking about this. It's like a broken record, man. A broken record that you go to sleep. When I was at work, so I was monitoring all day, and we had the purple states and all that, how they actually do it, and then when you sit there and I get off of work, and then they say that, okay, Biden's a projected winner. And I'll be honest, man, I smell.
He's at work.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, when you get off, bro.
Yeah. Hey, Jay, you know that thing I just sent you? That's Mark Levin.
Yeah.
He's live right now talking about the election right now.
Oh, it is? Okay.
I just thought I'd let you know. He was explaining what's going on right now.
Okay. Let me go over there and check it out.
The last thing I sent you.
Okay, let me see. Hold on.
You might have to rewind it a little bit because it's live.
Okay. Let me take this off. Okay. Let's see what Mark Levine had. As soon as I'm trying to get to the point where all right, here we go. Mark Levin, which I like watching him. He's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and stuff
you might
like
have to rewind it though, because it's live.
I did already.
Okay.
All right, yeah, I'm already on that. Yeah, this did just before I actually put it on. Let's see what Mark Levine has to say. Okay, y'all see it?
Yep.
Okay, put the volume up. Here we go.
I'm Mark Levin, and this is Life, Liberty, and Levin. You've been receiving a lot of disinformation and misinformation about how litigation works, about fraud, about the Constitution. What you've basically been hearing is people sitting in their chairs in Washington, D.C. studios or Manhattan studios telling you there's no evidence, of fraud, or where's the evidence? So there's not enough evidence to change the election results. You're also hearing them dismiss or poo-poo serious constitutional arguments about the Equal Protection Clause, or even Article 2 of the Constitution, which gives the authority solely to the state legislature to make election laws, not judges, not Secretary of States, and consent decrees. No, nobody but the state legislature. I'm going to try and sort this out for you a little bit here. First of all, when people come on television and they say, where's the evidence? I want to see the evidence. I want to see all the evidence. Do you have enough evidence? Not just this, that, or the other. Let me explain how civil litigation works. This isn't criminal litigation. The Trump campaign doesn't have a grand jury. They don't have FBI investigators. They don't have subpoena power. They're bringing civil suits. Now, let me explain this. To file a civil complaint, you need a reasonable basis in fact and law. Allegations can be made on information and belief. Now, a motion to dismiss tests the legal sufficiency of the complaint. Assuming everything in the complaint is true, does it state a claim upon which relief can be granted? So for a motion to be dismissed, everything is assumed to be true and all reasonable inferences are granted to the plaintiff. And if the judge still doesn't think that there can possibly be a case, even down the road after discovery, he or she will dismiss the case. One of the things that troubles me greatly is a number of the cases that the Trump campaign have brought have been dismissed, and in my view, should not have been dismissed. And what the media do is, rather than explain the nature of the case and what it is that the Trump campaign is alleging, they just say, oh, they lost another case, was dismissed. Why? Now, let's talk about discovery, expedited discovery. So you bring a case, you have to pass the motion to dismiss standard, which typically is fairly easy. You don't need all this evidence for a court to accept the case, as I explained. And then you can seek expedited discovery to gather all the evidence that you think is out there. An expedited discovery can be granted by a court, and it often is, when injunctive relief is sought by temporary restraining order and or preliminary injunction. Depending upon the need for prompt resolution, and we have one now given the clock, that discovery can be ordered immediately. The judge can do it right at the desk, order it, and courts have the power to speed discovery along, and very fast. Now, let's talk about, as an example, this Dominion voting system. Unexplained, significant deviations from expected results. For instance, mathematical inconsistencies supported by experts. In other words, expert testimony given in affidavits should be more than sufficient to establish a reasonable basis to file a complaint and justify expedited, fast discovery. So it's all wrong when you hear legal analysts and hosts say, where's all the evidence? Where's all the evidence? This is a civil suit. So you have the bar you need to pass, so your case isn't dismissed. Then you conduct discovery. Written discovery, document demands, depositions, and so forth on an expedited level. That's how it's supposed to work. So it is frustrating to me to listen and watch people who have no experience in civil litigation, know nothing about civil litigation, or former federal prosecutors and professors who should know better, saying the same thing, or political operatives with whiteboards and without whiteboards. I'm afraid there's no evidence. We don't have the evidence, there's no evidence. So if judges prevent the Trump campaign from going forward in, for example, involving the Dominion voting system, they're never going to gather the quote unquote evidence that's necessary in a trial, in a court proceeding, or where you're seeking some kind of remedy or relief. Because you don't go to court with boxes and boxes full of evidence. Sometimes you can, but you're not required to. And so all this talk from Republican senators who have no idea what they're talking about, Mitt Romney, Ben Sass, who was just elected, so he's not all worked up about anything, Adam Kinzinger, it's over already, and so forth. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But why won't they embrace our legal system? Why won't they embrace our constitutional system? Why won't they encourage the courts to go ahead efficiently to act on these cases so we can get to the bottom of it? And there's reasons to be concerned, ladies and gentlemen. There's different kinds of cases the Trump campaign is bringing. Number one, of the sort I just said. They want to test this machine system, either now or in the very near future, with a filing. But they're getting their experts lined up and they're getting their affidavits lined up. How do I know? Because unlike most, I've asked them. Number two, you have cases of actual fraud. The Trump campaign in various cities and states have collected hundreds and hundreds of signed affidavits under penalty of perjury from election workers, from state officials, from civilians, hundreds and hundreds. That's hundreds and hundreds more than they ever had in the Russia collusion hoax. So these are serious cases that they're bringing. I can't help it if judges are getting nervous and they don't want to pursue it, or they're Obama appointees or whatever they are, or left-wing rogue justices, as you have the majority on the Supreme Court in Pennsylvania, just like you had in Florida in 2000 on the Supreme Court of Florida. And what other kinds of cases? Constitutional cases are being brought, very serious cases, under Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2, with the United States Supreme Court. Associate Justice Sam Alito has already reached down into Pennsylvania twice and ordered them to protect certain ballots in case the court rules that what the Pennsylvania Supreme Court did may be unconstitutional. What am I talking about? Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 of the United States Constitution. Each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature. They specifically say the legislature. You won't find that in many places in the Constitution where they're specific about that. The legislature thereof may direct a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in the Congress. In other words, the state legislature makes election laws. And I can tell you from my own research way, way back, there's no way the framers of the Constitution or the ratification conventions would have approved this Constitution if the legislatures themselves weren't in charge of the voting systems, weren't setting the laws. You need to understand there was no federal government. They created this federal government, and the states had to buy into it. In one of the areas where the states said, we'll only buy into it if you protect our authority and underscore our authority to determine what the election laws are. So when you have the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, or you have a consent decree in Georgia, or you have a federal judge in Michigan, or things of that sort going on, interfering with decisions by the state legislatures, that is unconstitutional, and that should be raised. And how many ballots does that affect? Nobody knows. It could be hundreds and hundreds of thousands. Now, as was pointed out by ABC News some time ago, let's talk about these legal changes that have come. You want to know why there's litigation going on? You want to know why this is taking so long? Because the Democrats and their surrogates in the Biden campaign brought over 200 to 300 lawsuits in the lead up to the election to change the voting systems in each state. And the Trump campaign is trying to address them now, confront them, and deal with them, because all of these cases that involve the Democrats were intended to make fraud easier, if not institutionalize it. And they write in ABC News, thanks to legal challenges from voting rights advocates, meaning left-wing Democrats and their party, some states that typically require ballots to be received by polls closing time will now accept ballots postmarked by Election Day for the 2020 election. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court said, we don't even care if there's a postmark. We don't care if there's a signature. We don't care if the signatures don't match. That was a case brought really by the Democrat governor who couldn't get these things from the Republican legislature. So they went in the court and got it from the Democrats on the Supreme Court. In the 3 blue wall states the president won in 2016, they wrote, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, judges have recently issued rulings that extend the deadline for mail ballots to be received. Judges. The text of the Constitution says that's unconstitutional. Judges don't get to make that decision, whether they're state judges or federal judges. That's in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. In Michigan, a court of claims judge, the lowest judge there is in the state, ordered clerks to accept ballots that are postmarked by November 2 and received within 14 days of the election, the deadline for results to be certified. These ballots have to be counted as provisional ballots. Legislature didn't pass that. The Republicans didn't agree to that. In Wisconsin, a U.S. federal district judge ruled that ballots postmarked by November 3rd can be counted as long as they're received by November 9th. The legislature didn't do that in Wisconsin. And in Pennsylvania, these are all Republican legislatures that are being overruled by courts, by these voting advocates, Democrats, who are bringing these cases. And in Pennsylvania, not only will mailed ballots that are postmarked on or before 8 p.m. on Election Day and received by 5 p.m. the Friday after it be counted due to a ruling from the state Supreme Court, any ballots that arrive within that time frame without a postmark or with an unreadable postmark will be presumed to have been sent before the cutoff point unless evidence indicates otherwise. That is a violation of the federal Constitution. State law did not provide for that. In Minnesota, ballots postmarked by Election Day and received within a week after the election will be counted. Both Massachusetts and Kentucky are allowing postmarked ballots received by November 6th to be counted. In New Jersey, it goes on and on and on. These changes have been taking place. Notice this. I don't know of a single newsroom that has put a chart on the monitor to show you all the changes that occurred in the last year or so, even in the last 90 days, in these states by court order or by decisions of secretaries of states or boards of elections to get around Republican legislatures. This is a highly abusive and controversial election across the country. In Georgia, a federal judge ruled that ballots postmarked by Election Day will count if election officials get them by the third day after the election. But the Secretary of State, the Republican National Committee, Georgia Republican Party are challenging this order. But you have courts that are just stepping in and changing the election laws. And this is really quite shocking. Trump campaign lost its lawsuit in Nevada, seeking to stop the state from mailing out ballots, among other pursuits. Nevada changed its mail-in procedures, that they're mailing it to the election rolls 60 days before the election. 60 days. Then they put in ballot harvesting. They did a very controversial way of checking signatures that, of course, excluded any Republican observer. And you can go on into New Jersey and these other states. So these are very serious matters. So when you have politicians who are just out there saying, like Romney has no idea what I'm talking about. He hasn't looked at a single thing. Neither has Sass, Mr. Constitution. He's not Mr. Constitution. Now, what should happen in these states? What should have happened and what should happen is that these Republican state legislatures in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, and these other states, Georgia and so forth, they should have issued a resolution early on stating that we, under the federal Constitution, the election laws that were in place but changed by federal and state courts or by fiat by a Secretary of State or an election board are null and void. And all counts should be based on the election laws that we put in place that were unconstitutionally altered. Any votes beyond that are illegal and unconstitutional. And if you're going to cry about disenfranchisement, blame the Democrats, the courts, and the people who did that. That's how you have a constitutional vote. That's why that matters. And I also fault the United States Chief on the United States Supreme Court, John Roberts, the Chief Justice. He could have killed this right away several weeks ago when he should have voted with the other originalists, and so should have Kavanaugh, instead of letting Pennsylvania get away with what it did. What they should have ruled is for Pennsylvania and for every other state, the Constitution is the Constitution. Article 2 leaves it to the legislature. Any changes done by any court, local, state, or federal, done by any public official, governor, secretary of state, or members of any boards of election, are per se unconstitutional, and all counts will be based on the federal Constitution, what the state legislatures have passed. If they had done this, almost none of this would be going on. Almost none of this. So those people that say, Biden won, let's get over it, let's move along. If you believe in the rule of law, if you believe in the Constitution, if you believe in the nature of civil litigation, that there needs to be some discovery with the Dominion voting system and other activities that took place, where we literally have hundreds and hundreds of affidavits of fraud. If you believe in that system, then it shouldn't be cut short. Otherwise, the entire integrity of your franchise is called into question, and it'll happen in 2022 and 2024. This isn't the Republicans won't let Biden be seated. This is the Democrats have created chaos and anarchy. Judges have created chaos and anarchy. And if we don't fix it now, we'll never fix it. And Joe Biden better understand that there cannot be unity and there will only be resistance. If he doesn't join in the call to uphold the Constitution and the rule of law and to let these civil procedures progress. Notice he hasn't said it once, not once. I'll be right back.
Hey, man, I want
He's
to tell
gonna
you what,
he's gonna
man.
have
Levine
Victor
is
Davis on right after the commercial. Victor Davis will be on with him, talking about it. But he's
okay.
telling
Let
you,
me
he's giving you the facts right there.
I'm fast forwarding real quick. As soon as all these
Yeah,
commercials,
a lot of
man.
commercials. Yeah,
Yeah, because they're trying to get their money in because they're losing money, and they know that these cats are their money makers.
there you go.
Who most of you are familiar with, Victor Davis Hanson, but I can never hear enough from Victor Davis Hanson. His knowledge of history and philosophy, as applied to what's taking place today, is essential. Victor Davis Hanson, you heard what I had to say. You see there's a huge rush by the Democrats, by the establishment Republicans, and by the media, and a lot of ignorance. Let's get this over with, and let's go ahead and coronate Joe Biden. How do you look at this?
Well, I look at the way you did, and for me, it was, and I'm not a legal scholar like you are, but I'm a historian and observer of contemporary events. For me, it was always a constitutional issue, and that is the Constitution suggests, or doesn't suggest, it delineates the legislatures as sole arbiters of election law, unless the Congress shall intervene, and they haven't in this case. So there were the laws, they were clearly massaged, in some cases violated, and they had a difference because we're in a close election. The margins are very thin, and those violations may or may not. And I think that the inconsistencies that you pointed out show that there's real doubt about the election. And so that's the issue. And the left tries to say, well, we're 2 weeks and a half from the election, we're 3 weeks from the electors. Whatever happened, it's happened. And there are some on our side that had a press conference, and I understand why they're concerned, but they said 70%, some of them have said Trump won, or millions of votes. And so our critics focus on that argument and not what you said, because that argument then suggests this is the greatest scandal in the history of the United States at a magnitude we've never seen. It may well be, but that's not your point. Your point is that let's find out if it is or not. You didn't say, I have proof of 70% landslide, or it's a big landslide. And that's why I wish people would concentrate on the points you made. What you're saying is, here's the Constitution. Here's how even the people who violated it know that they violated it. And those violations have to be adjudicated because in a close elections, they may well have altered the result. And we have evidence that they might have altered the results because we have these affidavits, these inconsistencies, these unproven computers, and this rush to have mail and early voting because of the COVID lockdown. And so you're saying, take a deep breath, follow the Constitution. And I wish everybody on our side would stick to your argument, because what's happening, the critics are coming in and saying, you guys claim that it was a landslide. Where's the evidence it was a landslide? Well, we didn't say it. Maybe some people in their exuberance said that, but we were sticking to the Constitution and the violations and the ramifications. So that's, I think you're spot on. And I wish that people would codify their arguments in consistency what you said, because it's a very persuasive argument.
Now, in addition, what's troubling to me is the strategy of the Democrats. These were Democrats who brought these lawsuits basically to soften up the playing field, almost like a military operation. They brought in all the artillery, hammered, one court after another, one Secretary of State after another. It was obviously very well coordinated and networked by Mark Elias, one of their lawyers, Bob Bauer, one of their lawyers, who also been involved in past activities with respect to changing votes and persuading courts and secretaries of state to change votes. And it's obvious. They looked at 2016, Victor Davis Hanson, they said, that can't happen again. And they said, we have to change the rules. And they changed the rules, maybe in a score or more of states, particularly the critical states. And they had a plan set out to do exactly this. And in none of these cases were the changes intended to assist the Republicans. And none of these changes were intended to promote good government. None of these changes were intended to ensure the security of the vote. Quite the opposite. So I can understand, and I think you can understand, why people are really troubled by this, even apart from the constitutional arguments that I make and the litigation processes that I talk about. It's like, wait a minute. What are they doing? Well, in 2016, we knew the answer to who would be president at 2 a.m. in the morning. Now look at what's going on, right?
Yeah, and it's worse than that because it's 2016, 2020, but we're looking at 2021, and Georgia's the last readout, Mark, because the left has said that they're not interested in changing the policies as much as the mechanisms by which they make policy. And we had a heroic effort in the House, and we had a heroic effort to keep the Senate, and Donald Trump did a heroic effort. But the fact of the matter is, there's a good chance that our collective fates will hinge on those 2 seats. And if we lose those 2 seats, they're not talking about just nationalizing health care. They're talking about getting rid of a 232-year electoral college with its national voter compact. They're talking about changing 151 years of tradition with the Supreme Court. And they can do that if they get rid of the Senate filibuster. And then we're talking about the end of a 60-year tradition of 50 states. So once you have a 15-person Supreme Court, and we're within a hair's breadth of getting that, because we know what's going to happen. You can have almost anything. If you have the House and the presidency and the representatives and the Supreme Court. And the danger is that this could be a replay of what we just saw November 3rd. We know what's going to happen. The polls are going to be massaging a incredible new blue state, Georgia. We're going to be told that. We're going to be told that Warnock and Ossoff are moderates, that they're no different than Bill Clinton's third way. None of this radical stuff is ever going to make it. The media is going to blanket it out. Big tech is going to deplatform, blue check, whatever they have to do. And the money that we saw in particular states is going to be nothing compared to the $1 billion that will come in from Mike Bloomberg and others. We've already seen people as diverse as Andrew Yang and columnists for the New York Times like Tom Friedman say, violate the law and move into Georgia and then stay there temporarily registered and then get out, basically. That was their implication, which is a felony. So what I'm getting at is that everything hangs in the balance now. There's no margin for error. And if we think that Georgia is a traditional red state anymore, it's had enormous changes in demography through illegal and legal immigration and its tech center, the suburban metropolis of Atlanta. That's 6 million of the 12 million people. And if we lose those 2 seats, I don't think you and I have never seen anything like the consequences in our lifetime. We're talking about structural changes to the Constitution as we know it and to the traditions and protocols of governance for over a century and a half.
We'll be right back.
Wow.
Just fast forward. It should be live now if you go all the way to the beginning. I mean, the start. Yeah, go all the way.
They're commercial now.
Yeah.
We can get on. We can get on something else. But as you can see, man, I mean the Democrats been making these really crazy strategies. Like when Andrew Yang was like saying that, okay, I'm moving to Georgia, and we should move to Georgia to overturn the seats in Georgia. I'm like that right there, man. That's a very low blow.
Yeah. Well, what people don't understand is that the Democrats are at war with us. I mean, literally.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they've been fighting us for years, and the Republicans are just like business as usual.
Right, man. And it's and if people don't sit there and really understand these strategies, I mean, it's like, man, it's like these cats are just giving them passes, and this goes out to my liberal friends, my liberal friends, Republican friends, Democrat friends, and all that. Well, especially libertarians. I mean, especially, please, just look. Okay, this isn't right. Okay, let's get away. Let's put our political parties to the side. All right, like really, just put put our political parties. Hold on, I got to turn this off. Hold on one second. All right, here we go. All right, it was still inside my ears, but let's put our political parties aside. Let's put our religions aside. Let's put everything aside and just look at right and wrong. You can't cheat. All right, there's no way these graphs was going straight up. You know what I'm saying? When it was just regular. Why? Okay, then why is Sidney Powell not a part of the team, or was she ever in this tactic? Well, to be honest with you about that, Josh, is that a lot of these cats are getting threatened. Their families, their practice, their livelihoods, and this is all from the left, the Democratic Party, and a few rhinos. All right, I mean, this right here, like I think us in the United States, in generalization, think that we're all alone inside this, that we're the only country that's going through this, and we're not. I talked to multiple countries during the week, and they're going through the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Same blame tactics, different different ways these tactics are being done, but in principality they're the same. Especially dealing with this Dominion program. All right, a lot of elections are done through this Dominion program, not just here in the United States, but all over the world, and that's how they blame. That's how to blame.
Well,
Good.
Carolyn sent me a thing saying that Dominion Diagnostic is the same company that's counting the cases for COVID-19.
Oh wow! Now
It's called
that's new.
it's called Dominion Diagnostic.
All right, put Carolyn on. If you please send her a link,
I did
let her
already.
elaborate on it.
I mean, I
All
didn't send
right,
her
so
to
we're
the back. I didn't send her a link to the panel, but I sent her a link to your video.
send her a link to a panel for she can elaborate on that. As I said,
Okay.
this is open. This is about news and stuff like that. This is something I didn't even know. And I'm sorry, I'm eating my pizza. It just came in. Okay, she's back. Well, anyways, our next one is that, let's see, remember Sydney, what was this? No, Sydney Powell is part of the team. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sidney
well, yeah.
Powell, Jenna Ellis, and Rudy Giuliani is the
Well,
legal team.
matter of
Private.
fact, since we're going to go there, we'll go to Sydney Powell's. Sydney Powell, this is going to be biblical. Okay, let me share this one. Share audio. And Trump legal team, Sydney Powell. Okay, bam. Here we go. No, wait, is it that? No, I have. Wait a second. All right, here we go. That's the wrong one. Sorry, folks, that's the wrong one. Okay.
Yeah. I sent you that link about Dominion Diagnostic that Carolyn sent me earlier.
Okay. Which one is that? Okay, their
It says
database.
Dominion Diagnostic. Yeah, I just sent it to you on Messenger.
Okay. I'll get it after I get done with this. Oh yeah, here we go. Sidney Powell names the crooks and investigators. 35,000 votes added. That's still the wrong one. Hold on. Let me see something. Yeah, wait. Yeah, this is the one I wanted. What's this one? Yeah. So sorry, folks. I got so many tabs out on here. It's sickening. I got like two Sidney Powell. It would be biblical YouTube. Wait, is it this one? Yeah, it says this one.
I'm trying to keep you loaded.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. I found it. Dude, there's so many. Dude, I got so many blame tabs on here. I don't want it to be all messed up. You know how it starts to lag when you put so many files up. Okay, let's.
Gremlins
This,
out of the system there, whatever the problem was. Sydney, if you can hear us, great to talk with you tonight.
Yes.
How you doing? And it's good to talk to you as always. I want to start off with just the ruling. The biggest news out tonight is this Pennsylvania ruling from this federal district court judge. What do you make of that?
Yes. Well, each of the district court judges has their own particular perspective on things. And I think that judge was appointed by President Obama. We really don't expect to win a lot of the district court cases, but ultimately the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court will have to get it right. We're very clear on the law and the facts on multiple issues, and we haven't even begun to present the big fraud case yet that I am still working on. And it's going to be a blockbuster.
I mean, it's interesting. Obviously, I mean, you guys had the news conference this week. There was a lot of compelling stuff in there. It sounded like you guys were making progress going down a road of investigation. But as I think anybody understands, when you're trying to lay out a case, it takes time to find out what you have. You had a bit of a rub with Tucker Carlson this week, who basically said you didn't have any evidence when they asked you to come on. What is the truth of the matter there? Because that made a lot of news.
Oh, yes. Well, he sent me some very abrasive and disrespectful emails or text messages, and I responded politely, offering him a different person as a witness who could explain it. I simply didn't have time to do it then, and I sent him a copy of one of the compelling affidavits that we have in the case. And apparently that wasn't sufficient for him. He was having a little bit of a tantrum. But I didn't see or hear what he said, and I haven't had time to listen to what he said after that. I'm just proceeding on my course of getting the case ready to prove in a court, which is where we prove cases of law, not in the media.
What is your timeline as you look at this? What's the timeline you think before you can put out some of this evidence that can really, if you want to shut the media up, or they say that you guys have nothing, when will you have some of this stuff that's this hardcore evidence in paper and writing?
Well, frankly, the affidavits we've already introduced are hardcore evidence. They're firsthand testimony of witnesses who saw how and why the system was created and how it worked to accomplish the objective for Hugo Chavez. They're people who saw ballots being destroyed. We've got evidence from people who saw fake ballots being created. We've got all kinds of different evidence, and then we've got the statistical and mathematical evidence that's absolutely irrefutable. I mean, a coin doesn't land on the same side when you flip it 186,000 times. You can't just inject 86,000 Biden votes and expect anybody to believe those are real, and they're not.
When we see,
no matter how you analyze the statistics, whether it's a predictive model or the actual data as it comes in, it doesn't hold water. And we've got other testimonial evidence that appears to be coming in now to indicate the Democrats literally added 35,000 votes to every Democratic candidate to begin with.
35 in any particular state, or you say 35,000 where?
We've got it definitely all over one state, and I would be willing to bet it happened everywhere.
And when you lay all this out, and you're going to do this in court, do you have what you think is irrefutable evidence that will make up the minds of millions of American people?
Well, the burden of proof in court is only a preponderance of the evidence. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the criminal standard. But frankly, with everything we've got, these should be criminal prosecutions at a significant level for fraud and conspiracy to defraud beyond provable beyond a reasonable doubt. There are hundreds of thousands of people in our criminal system right now in prison who were convicted on far less evidence of guilt than we have here.
Sidney Powell, I want you to react to something that this Republican senator from Pennsylvania, Pat Toomey, just said in reaction to the district court judge's decision. The district court judge is someone who's very close to Pat Toomey. Senator Toomey says that President Trump has now, quote, exhausted all plausible legal options to challenge the result of the presidential race in Pennsylvania. Is that true?
No, that's not true at all.
Can you explain why the senator's wrong?
Begun to fight.
Can you explain why is the senator wrong?
Well, he's wrong because Pennsylvania was one of the hotbeds of many varieties of fraud and criminal acts that the Department of Justice, frankly, should be in there prosecuting. And we're going to dump a whole lot of them into evidence in our fraud case that we're going to file in Pennsylvania.
Why do you think the Justice Department isn't being more aggressive in following up on what you see?
I think the Justice Department has known about this issue for a long time and turned a blind eye to it.
Why though?
I wonder how much the CIA actually had a role in starting this kind of program to begin with, use on other countries.
Why would Donald Trump's Justice Department not be interested in this?
Well, I wish Donald Trump had as much control over the Justice Department as people think he does. It's taken on a life of its own. I don't think even Bill Barr has the control over the Justice Department that he would like to have, because there are so many lawyers in so many different places doing whatever it is they want to do and ignoring the standards and practices that historically created the Justice Department to seek justice and not convictions. I mean, I wrote a book about that back in 2014. We've been on this increasingly bad path for decades now, and it's done nothing but get worse because nobody's told the truth and stood up for the truth. But Americans are now. They're livid about this, and they can see it. Everybody saw it election night. They saw votes being subtracted from President Trump and appearing on the Biden side of the scale. And that's exactly what this Dominion system was designed to do. And we have eyewitness testimony to its entire creation for that very purpose.
There have been warnings about this system. We were talking about it earlier, Sidney. I mean, you had Senators Warren and Klobuchar that made a big stink about the 2018 midterms, saying that they don't trust Dominion, that they saw evidence that votes could be switched using these systems. These are Democrats who ran for president. What I don't understand is how does this get ignored? I mean, this is a nationwide, this is a democracy shocking scandal, if it is true.
It is.
And it's so big, I can't even wrap my head around it. I just wonder, how does this happen?
Well, that's exactly how it happens, because it's so big, nobody wants to wrap their head around it. Nobody wants to untie all the little knots that go into it. Yeah. But we have to if we're going to be a constitutional republic. This cannot go on. Our votes must be counted fair and true. Every legal vote is entitled to be counted, and every illegal vote nullifies the vote of an American citizen and our public will of we the people. It's absolutely counter to everything this country was founded on. So we have got to get this fixed now. I can't unsee it. I'll tell you that. I certainly cannot unsee what I have seen. And I'm going to make sure everybody else knows everything I've seen too, because we've got to hold our government institutions accountable and do better than this by each other. And it does cut across both political parties. It cuts across generations now, or at least multiple decades of this kind of corruption. It's got increasingly more sophisticated.
Has anybody given you
to smudge the edge of a ballot and stick it through the machine, and the ballot would be rejected? But now they can literally drag and drop hundreds of thousands of votes wherever they want them.
I mean,
everybody knew when they bought the system, and that was one of the features of the system. We've caught people lying now and saying that things that happened that ran people out of voting areas, and we've got tons of evidence. It's so much, it's hard to pull it all together.
How big of a, if this happened, how big of a conspiracy, how many people would have had to have been in on something like this?
Oh gosh, probably thousands, including the people running the machines at each of the polling centers. We know, for example, that one of the higher ups of Dominion went to Detroit the night of the election to handle things himself. And we also have evidence that there were any number of VPN lines open to the internet for foreign actors to be meddling in it.
Has anybody given you an explanation that as to why they had to turn the machines off? You talk about how the machines got turned off,
yes,
and then there was a vote done.
Our witness from Venezuela, who saw it all created and how it worked, said that he knew as soon as the machines were turned off in those key states, it was because we, the people, in voting for Trump in a landslide election, had essentially broken the algorithm that had been pre-programmed into the machine. So they had to stop counting in those states and areas and backfill the vote with fraudulent mail-in ballots or whatever means they used to do it, whether they just injected numbers or trashed votes for Trump otherwise and changed the numbers. I don't know exactly how they did it right now in each spot, but that's essentially the way it worked.
Let me ask you about the state of Georgia. Obviously, yesterday, the governor there, he certified the election for Joe Biden. It's about 12,000 votes. And what you see, will Georgia switch?
Yeah, that's a total farce. Georgia's probably going to be the first state I'm going to blow up, and Mr. Kemp and the Secretary of State need to go with it because they're in on the Dominion scam with their
Wow, you think that's the first one she's gonna blow up?
$100 million. The State Bureau of Investigation for Georgia ought to be looking into the financial benefits received by Mr. Kemp and the Secretary of State's family about that time. And another benefit Dominion was created to award is what I would call election insurance. That's why Hugo Chavez had it created in the first place. But I also wonder where he got the technology, where it actually came from, because I think it's hammer and scorecard from the CIA.
Just to clarify, you're saying that Governor Kemp, who's been a longtime ally of the president, is directly involved because of financial benefit in the conspiracy to defeat the president in Georgia?
We have certainly been told that there is evidence of that, and it would warrant an investigation if anybody were actually going to do an honest investigation.
What more could you tell us about that alleged conspiracy? The governor's involvement?
I can't give you any more details on that now, but it would certainly warrant an investigation. If it had been reported to me as a law enforcement officer, I would be investigating it steadfastly.
I know you say you want to do your arguing in court. You are an attorney. You're not a press secretary, but you all did have a press conference last week. Jordan Sekelo said that there's going to be a filing soon in Georgia that would be explosive. Can you tell us anything? Can you make some news with us here tonight? Tell us anything new that you're going to present in that filing in Georgia.
Well, I can't say that yet, but hopefully this week we will get it ready to file.
Sydney,
it will be biblical.
Biblical. What is the state where was it the worst? From what you see and what you're alleging, what state was switched the most?
Oh, that's really hard to say. Georgia is extremely bad. We've got ballots being shredded, ballots being thrown out in trash bags, lying by people working in the center, the votes being switched, the algorithms being run. You name the manner of fraud, and it occurred in Georgia.
These are in the Atlanta area counties. Those counties, Fulton, DeKalb.
Yeah, I think the algorithm ran most probably across the country. Can I say that for sure yet? No, I can't say that for sure yet, but it looks that way, and it looks like 35,000 votes were added to every Democratic candidate.
You also talked about this ability of the system, and I thought this was so interesting when you said it, that it can take a vote and it can make a vote for Biden worth more than a vote for Trump. Do you think that happened, or is that another part of the system that maybe wasn't used?
No, I think that definitely happened. I think that was the first step with the system, to weight the votes so that a Biden vote is worth 1.23, say, and a Trump vote is worth the rest of that. And so the Trump vote is about 3/4, and the Biden vote is 1 1/4. And that way, you can see the reports and the records of fractional numbers for the votes.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
It is. I mean, everything you're alleging, frankly, is nuts. Which is why I think you're getting so much scrutiny and so much criticism. But if it's true, and we don't know, and that's just the simple thing, is that we don't know yet if it's true because we can't see what you've seen. I want to ask you about
Right.
Michigan. Michigan's a bigger margin than the rest of them. It's like 100 and maybe 150,000. What are you seeing in Michigan?
We're seeing essentially the same things in Michigan, except larger number of ballots being stuffed in. It's the old-fashioned stuffing the ballot box. They're just doing it by computer instead of by paper. That's really all it is. They're dragging and dropping files of votes from one person to another instead of just stuffing paper ballots in the ballot box.
Can you
And,
specifically?
you know, corruption in elections has been going on forever. I remember LBJ saying, you know, send some guys down to the cemetery because those people, if they were alive, would have voted for me. And they take the name and the birthday, and that's what they did.
So it's Saturday night. Can
But
you
it's,
Can you preview for us as specifically as you can what's going to happen this coming week, starting Monday morning? Tell us where you're going to file, what you expect to happen by Friday.
well, I don't, personally, I don't expect to file anything by Monday. I'm hoping we can get it ready by Wednesday. If not, it should be ready by Friday. But it's a massive project to pull this fraud claim together with the evidence that I want to put in.
So are you saying you're
begin with.
going to
And
file?
remember, this isn't a summary judgment motion where we actually have to produce any evidence now. Your typical lawsuit, you just file a statement of what the charges are without any affidavits or anything.
But are you saying you're going to file
the way the media is going about this is absolutely ridiculous and unreasonable to expect us to put evidence in right now. Although we know election issues are on an expedited schedule, but I could wait a month to file the fraud case and everybody would have to undo their certifications because it's so bad.
But are you saying you're going to file the same case in multiple jurisdictions or in one jurisdiction?
Each one's a little bit different depending on what happened in the state, the different manner and means and the evidentiary aspects that support each one. You know, we've got different affidavits from different witnesses in each of the states. So there are going to be some differences between them, but they're going to be claims that are identical. Some of the legal claims are going to be identical. For example, in a number of states, there were modifications to the machine after the statutory cutoff date that should invalidate every vote cast on the machine. I mean, Georgia cannot, there's no way Georgia can proceed to have an election using those machines for the runoff candidates.
Yeah.
That's absolutely absurd.
You know, as we wrap this up, Sydney, I think everybody at home right now wants to see this. They want to see what you say you've seen. Is that going to be possible at any point? Are we going to be able to see some of these problems and some of these issues, the way these systems work and the way this Dominion works?
Yes, and there's actually evidence online now. I mean, we need to try to get our website up to date with the complaints that have already been filed. But exhibits were attached, for example, to Lynn Wood's complaint in Georgia that are remarkable and stunning, including the affidavit of the young man from Venezuela who saw Hugo Chavez create how they did the software, hire people to do it and get it done, and then how it worked to make sure he won every election thereafter. That's what it's designed to do. Their own handbook tells you that these things are features of their system. Right. Are we supposed to think they didn't use the features? Heck no, they used them. And they used them against their own candidates. The Democrats used them against Bernie Sanders in 2016. And somebody even told him what had been done to him when Hillary Clinton won that primary, and he didn't. And instead of standing up for the American people and the right to vote, he sold out.
You're saying Dominion, the Smartmatic Dominion system was used in 2016 when Hillary beat Bernie in the primary?
Yes.
Wow. I don't think we had heard that yet. That's an incredible development right there. And you say he knows that. Bernie Sanders knows that.
Yes, the person who sent me the data told me that they informed Bernie Sanders of all their findings, and he didn't do anything except get enough money to buy another fabulous house.
Wow.
I'm telling you, it's been used for both parties. One of the big problems is that we don't know who was elected by buying their election through Dominion.
Wow.
I'm sure it crosses party lines.
Wow.
That's not an accusation against every politician. It's certainly not meant to be, but it means we don't know which ones got elected that way and how much they knew about how it was being used for or against them. Certainly not against them. But I'm reasonably certain at this point that John James was ripped out of his seat, and he was entitled to have won that election by the real vote. And the same, I think, is true for Doug Collins in Georgia. And there's no telling how many congressional candidates should have won that lost by the addition of 35,000 votes per Democrat or the algorithm that they were running against whoever they wanted to target. I mean, you can do it candidate by candidate.
That is something else. I mean, it's mind blowing. Sydney, what you're alleging, I can't even imagine. And I hope that you will join us again to talk about what you continue to find as you continue to investigate.
I will do that, and I will try and get more stuff up online this week. We've got some website
or just email
issues,
it to
and
us.
of course, people are trying to hack us and everything else. But Democratic Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney wrote the Treasury Secretary about this very issue in 2003, I think it was.
17
So
years
people
ago.
have been complaining about it, and the government's done absolutely nothing except whatever it wants to do.
17
so who is
years.
really pulling the strings here and choosing the American pursuant to the system. Because it's not the people of the United States of America, and that's supposed to be who it is.
It's just something else. And like you said, prominent Democrat politicians complained about the usage of this system in this country. Sydney Powell, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the phone. I know how busy you are, and we appreciate the time.
Thank you.
This is deep. This is very, very deep. And this is my first time seeing it, and I'm like in shock. You know, like
why is foreign countries counting our votes?
And check this out. This came out an hour ago by General Flynn. It was Sidney Powell has been suspended from Twitter for 12 hours. She understands the White House press release and agrees with it today. She is staying the course and proving the massive deliberate election fraud that robbed we the people of our votes for President Trump and many other Republican candidates. This was released about an hour ago by General Michael Flynn. This is on Parlay. So if you haven't hooked up to General Flynn on Parler, on a Parlay, it was actually echoed. And as I'm looking, Tommy Robinson, he's saying a lot. Just saw this, we don't know why. Janisha Souza. Nothing else really that's came on. Trump team stopped the vote suppression. I don't have Parler on my computer, so that's why I'm not showing it. But this is actually on Parler. You can find me on Parler, all at J Da Vinci. You can also find me on Minds at J Da Vinci. And you can find me on Gab. I just got done with that account on J Da Vinci. And MeWe, I still haven't gotten to that yet. But I do have a MeWe account. I just haven't gotten to it yet to actually.
What about Spreely?
No, I don't got Spreely. Man, this is too many right now for me.
I know. That's how I feel.
You know. But as I'm saying, man, that as we can see, and this is about an hour ago, and this was today, that she had the interview that Twitter suspended Sydney's account, Cindy Powell's account. Ain't that something? I mean, it's unreal. It's very, very unreal. And speaking of Dominion, right? Carolyn was talking about that for the COVID release, which now that we're talking about Dominion and stuff like that, I just got the message. I just put it on my page. I'm gonna put that on there. So we'll read this out together. That Dominion is actually doing the counting for the COVID cases, which is very, very, very
Yeah.
crazy. Dominion Diagnostics, and what was put on here was the actual website. Okay, so you see the same company right here, Dominion Diagnostics, the same company that does our voting and stuff with the with the COVID-19 updates. All right, let's sit there, let's look at this site. Let's look at About Us and to see who is the executive team. If there's some of y'all out there, right? Let's find out who some of these people are. All right, if some people can do this type homework, see if there's any names that's you know serving the executive team. Let's look at the advisory board. I always look at this stuff. Who's on the advisory board of this? All right, we're doing some. Jimmy, you're well safe. Who's on the advisory board? Which they should. Well, look at this. Nobody has anything listed. Nobody on the advisory board. Ain't that something? They clear names out. Wow. Wow. Certifications and licenses. Let's see what's in there. Wow. How about contests? Today. Their website don't have really nobody in it. So I guess what we need to do. Hmm.
And you got
Wow.
that video I sent you from Carolyn about Dominion Diagnostics too.
Okay, I'll put that up. I'm just sitting there looking. This is about. Wow. I think people should actually look at this. Whoever's in this area right here, these patent service centers. If you live near these different places and stuff like that, check them out. Vermont, Kentucky, Tennessee, VT, because it's up to us to do our sleuthing on who all these centers are connected to, who funds them, and all this, and find out who Dr. Ken Roy. This is in 2014. So make sure we sit there and look at this, dude.
32 years ago, when I was exposed to addiction treatment, the treatment that existed was always the same. Initially, treatment was not patient focused unless you involve the patient and that patient's proclivities and help them explore their own willingness to do what's necessary to recover from addiction, that you're going to have a high relapse rate. Psychiatric informed therapy was necessary. Entered the field, the prescription of antidepressants to people feel permitted to say, well, this person has had enough treatment. Can you imagine them doing that for diabetes? Can you imagine them doing that for cardiovascular disease? Would like to feel more supported by...
Nah. You know what I'm saying? Especially solutions, me and contact, client login, online bill and pay. Wow, that's something. And it's the same logo, so the logo hasn't changed. Advanced patient care through diagnostics, education and training, COVID-19 updates. Remember, this is the same company. This is the same company that's counting your votes, our votes, my votes, right? And also they're inside of our pharmaceutical industry. which is something that I wish I would. I mean, ask Carolyn, could she come in and explain this more? Because she knows more about this than I do on the significance, if that's possible. But I'm going to sit there. I'm going to take a closer look and do a little bit of research on that. Hold on, let me put my where I'm going to bookmark this. Where's my bookmark at? Well, I'll keep it. I have it. So I'm gonna do a little sleuthing inside this myself. All right, let's see what else that we got. I got some more videos or some more stuff to put in. See if we're still. All they need is an electric chair if we're still with our votes. Google Trump campaign statement. Okay, yeah.
It's just a small little blurb on there saying that it's only Jenna Ellis and Rudy that's on the team now. It doesn't mention Sidney Powell on there. So he's trying to argue that Sidney Powell is no longer part of the legal team for President Trump as far as the election.
Well, we just proved
But it
that
doesn't
wrong.
go into detail. It's only like one sentence or two sentences.
What was the source? What was the source from it?
The DonaldJTrump.com.
Oh, okay. Oh, so basically it was edited.
It doesn't say that she's not. It just says the legal team is now Rudy and Jenna Ellis. It doesn't really say anything about Sidney Powell. But a lot of people are contributing. Like, for instance, that guy, Lynn Wood, he's working on it, but he's not part of Trump's legal team, but he's still working on it.
Right. Well, that's it, man. There's a lot of fuckery happening behind closed doors and stuff like that. Anyways, let's look on a good note. Right, is the California refusal for the lockdown, and I guess Anomaly was there and stuff like that, and got very good very good footage of what's going on in California. This is the curfew. It's crazy. It's crazy how all this is going down. Let's take a look at how many people. This was going down last night, but Anomaly put this up today. I'm gonna bring this sound down real quick. This is an example of a peaceful protest. For all y'all with BLM, which I got something that would happen in DC, of what was going on in DC, care of Will Johnson. They all riding, they're all having a good time, like they did in Ohio. I'm glad California, you know what I'm saying, is rising up, and with this type of show up and this in Huntington, California, and the amount of patriots that was out there, why is California blue? You know, and kudos to them out in California. Just for luck and stuff like that. I mean, they are really kudos go out to them, man. This right here is real peaceful protest.
Hundreds of millions of people feel this way. They're just not gonna tell you. I will. I like Trump. I don't really give a fuck. Oh, y'all suck. I'm too real to play it safe. You fake it front. I'm the plug. Y'all just follow like some shit. Do what they want. I don't jump. I'm just saying how I feel like Donald Trump. I like Trump. I like Trump. I don't really give a fuck. Oh, y'all suck. I'm too real to play it safe. You fake it front. I'm the
Pencil
plug. Y'all
neck.
just follow like some shit.
That's
Do
cool.
what they want. I don't jump. I'm just saying how I feel like Donald Trump. I like Trump. I be blunt and real. I do what I feel. Smoke a blunt and chill. Make 100 mil. Beat the system while the matrix numbers build. People hate, but I just make another deal. You don't understand the system. Yeah, I'm about to paint a picture. Yeah, media control the mind and censor everything that ever goes against them. Yeah, why they pin you as a victim? Yeah, so you always stay dependent. Yeah, then they tell you they gon' raise the taxes, help you out with everything you give them. Yeah, the homeless getting bigger. Yeah, sell some weapons out in Yemen. Yeah, I ain't getting into all the specifics, but you best believe I ain't tripping. Listen, all these rappers complain about taxes, but don't realize who tax them. Under control of the mind, got the culture hijacked and the people moving backwards. Kanye be trying to tell you the truth, but the critics still slashed him. Whatever happened to Prince, Dick Gregory, Dr. Sebi, Michael Jackson? I like Trump, I like Trump. I don't really give a fuck. All y'all suck. I'm too real to play it safe. You fake it front. I'm the plug. Y'all just follow like some shit. Do what they want. I don't jump. I'm just saying how I feel like Donald Trump. I like Trump. I like Trump. I don't really give a fuck. All y'all suck. I'm too real to play it safe. You fake it front. I'm the plug.
Kudos out to Anomaly, man. Great dude. Great, great dude, man. You know what I'm saying?
But if the press were actually doing its job, you'd be hearing a lot about the Bloomberg New Economy Forum, which has been going on all week, attended by modern-day global leaders and wealthy elites who supported Joe Biden. And they're so confident in their agenda, so buoyed by what they see as the defeat of the America First movement, that they aren't even trying to hide their disdain any longer for American sovereignty.
Were you surprised by how badly America has done on that? Very quickly.
Oh, it's mind-blowing.
When the Paris Agreement came into force, the United States withdrew from it and left us and all the other countries around the world disappointed.
The marketplace is encouraged by having a leader now that is more inclusive.
Inclusive. Of course, if they have their way, you're going to have no say in the future of the global economy, no way to affect it, no ability to change it. It's up to American patriots to oppose what they're trying to do at almost every turn. And that means supporting Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue in Georgia in that runoff on January 5th. And it means keeping pressure on Republican elected officials across the board. I mean, let's face it, before Trump, a lot of them were wrong on both trade and immigration. Got to keep an eye on them. And over the next 4 years, these Republicans are going to come under enormous media and financial pressure to appease the global elites. And make no mistake about it, the globalists are determined to ram through their agenda. And given Biden's age and mental acuity, or lack thereof, they probably feel like they have a very narrow window, very short window to achieve their grand designs. If Biden gets into office, get ready for the fight of your life over the next years. At every turn, they will try to subvert your rights and take your prosperity. To start, they're going to crater your personal finances with insane climate policies.
We need a whole economy transition, backing those who are part of the solution and taking capital away from those who are part of the problem.
Cap and trade mechanism or some kind of carbon tax.
An active carbon market with a carbon price that would continue.
This is what France was fighting against in the Yellow Vest movement, and still doing it. They just took the news. Carbon tax.
Yeah. Our governor here in Oregon is trying to push that. We voted against it, and she wants to do an executive order on it.
Some of these types of crushing globalist deals, but Bloomberg and his pals are really smart. They know exactly the kind of rhetoric that's needed to win people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez over.
climate change is going to kill us all. If we're waiting for things to be delivered in 2050, we're not going to be around to see them.
Well, we don't have a lot of time. It's somewhere between 10 and 20 years.
Well, he won't live to 2050.
Yeah.
I mean, he's talking he won't be around in 2050. Well, that's right. How old is he? 80?
Shoot, we won't either. But baby, you know what I'm saying?
What their overriding
I
goal
know.
is. Sticking together by guarding against the risk of the U.S. and China decoupling. Oh, they don't want that. Bloomberg and lots of other American plutocrats have billions tied up in China. So decoupling from the communist regime would be a disaster for them personally, even though it would be a huge boon to American industries and American workers. Now on COVID, billionaires like Bill Gates could barely hide their excitement for what a Biden presidency might bring.
As people come into the country, do they have a digital certificate that says whether they've been vaccinated or not? As the U.S. rejoins
Yeah.
the WHO, this idea
Yeah.
of what is the vaccine?
Like the Nazis, show me your papers.
Dialogue will begin.
Show me your papers. Now, don't for a second think that you're going to have a seat at that table for this dialogue. You're just supposed to sit down and do what you're told, remember? Well, that's what Dr. Fauci told us anyway. Coincidentally, the Chinese CDC's chief epidemiologist had basically the same message yesterday.
In the Eastern culture, we have a community value is higher than the individual value. In the United States and European countries, the personal right is the top priority. The most important is everybody takes the order and follow the instruction.
Everyone take the order and follow the.
Well, we're not communists here. We don't take orders.
Mask up, open your wallet, distance, get the vaccine certificate, give up your freedom, your autonomy, and do not under any circumstances ask any real questions. Doesn't that sound like a fun world to live in? Well, this is the type of mentality that will guide the Biden administration's COVID response. And of course, good old Joel will bend over backwards to appease the World Health Organization, a prospect that has emboldened World Health Organization head doctor Tedros.
The fastest way out of this pandemic is for us to work together in solidarity across sectors and across borders. Vaccine nationalism will prolong the pandemic. The pandemic has taken so much from us, but it has also given us something, the opportunity to think afresh about the world we want. We can build the healthier, safer, and fairer world we all want and build back better.
There it is.
He's not even a medical doctor. He's not even a medical doctor, that guy.
Borrowing Biden's campaign slogan, or who's borrowing from whom these days? It's a signal that they're all on the same team. They all have the same end goals. Individualism and individual rights will be subverted, sublimated to the global rights, the communal rights. And it's a sign that Joe Biden won't put America first. He's not out to make America better, and he won't make that his first priority. He's got to do the bidding of Bloomberg, Wall Street, big business, and the rest of the special interests that bankrolled his campaign. And of course, that means kowtowing to the elites who don't give a damn about jobs and wages for Americans. They never did. That's why it's imperative that we hold the Senate next year. Because with a majority in that chamber, plus our gains in the House, we actually have a chance at thwarting this kind of takeover of the levers of power from our government to a government far, far away. And we can make sure that the America First movement continues to deliver results that our citizens and we can use to build a future where our children can actually thrive under the system of government and with our inalienable rights that we all love and cherish. And that's the angle.
Wow. Okay. Well, here is something from Washington Post. Washington Post, as you know, Washington Post is one of the worst and we'll all talk about this after once I open the panel of everything
Yeah,
that's with
Jeff Bezos owns that, which is a globalist, owns
right.
Amazon.
As I said before, I didn't see none of that because I just looked at the clickbait and just put it on there and see what they have to say because, as I said, we have to be equal to all news sources. Because
Yeah.
number one is we have to learn we have to know who our enemy is. As soon as I find it, Sydney, I'm fine. Here we go. Biden's official slam slow. Here we go. This is Washington Post and what they are saying.
At 12 noon on January 20th, Joe Biden will become the next president of the United States. Everything Donald Trump's doing now is bad for our democracy. It's bad for our position, our image in the world, but it's not going to change what happens here when we get a new president next year.
A vaccine distribution will fall in the hands of a Biden administration.
Yes.
And with
this one.
every single moment that there is a delay of ascertainment, every single moment that our folks are not able to get into and work with current government officials puts the effective distribution of that vaccine in danger.
If there isn't a seamless flow of information now,
Just say thank you to President Trump for this
so we
vaccine.
know what plans they've made, so we know what gaps there are in the plans, then I do think there's risk that distribution has gaps and lapses starting on January 20th. You know, if the Trump administration positions, we're just supposed to trust them that this is all going to work out. I think that's a hard sell to the American people.
One of the reports of the findings of the 9/11 Commission was that because the transition was short and failed, it left us more vulnerable for a 9/11 type.
Oh, really?
So we should be getting the national security.
President-elect Biden will be announcing members' cabinet nominees this week, and a key part of getting that group of individuals confirmed is FBI background checks. FBI background checks cannot happen unless there's ascertainment, and I expect not just Democrats but Republicans in the Senate to be outraged that they won't have access to that information. It could take weeks for that to happen.
This is the future of our democracy on the line. It was a fair and square election. Donald Trump lost, and so at some point we have to move on. But this Republican Party has been very reluctant to stand up and tell the emperor that he wears no clothes.
Wow. And you see how they sit there and just
and nothing, nothing's official, but yet they want to jump into it. And then needless to
Right.
say that 9/11 Commission, that was Clinton switching to Bush. So it was the Democrats that were slow in that process that they're talking about.
right. I mean,
And Trump didn't have a smooth transition either. Look at President Trump. Did he have a smooth
he
transition?
still had, but his transition still ain't smooth. His transition was never smooth since he came down, since he won the election. You know, and then 3 days before, what was it, January 17th, when Obama, which they still haven't said nothing about, Bin Laden and the what was it, $2.4 billion that went, that went to Iraq. You mean went to
You mean
Iran?
Iran? Yeah.
Iran, yeah.
Pallets of cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Piles of cash because they wanted to shut Iran. They wanted to shut Iran up about Bin Laden being still alive during the attack attack on his complex when it was a fake.
Yeah.
And then
My question is how is he able to get that kind of money? I thought you have to go through Congress to get money.
That's what I want to find out. But let alone is
How
on
is the
that
president
tape.
able to come up with $2.4 trillion or
Yeah,
billion
from
dollars?
2.4
and
billion.
give it away,
Yeah.
and to be
Yeah,
able to
you
just cash and give it.
Yeah. Not just not wired, cash. All right. On what was it? C1 what C141s or something like that on military planes.
Yeah, several. It took several planes.
Several.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what the denominations were 20s.
Well,
You
they
know,
ran
there
out
was-
of American currency. They had to give French francs. They had to give British pounds, German marks,
Right.
because they ran out of cash.
There wasn't marks even at that point in time. It was euro.
Oh, euro. Yeah.
Yeah, and stuff like that. But I'm like, I'm like looking at this, are you fucking kidding me? Are you really fucking kidding
Yeah.
me? You do that 3 days
Yeah.
before he's inaugurated into Trump
Yeah.
was inaugurated as president, and then not
Yeah.
even 19 minutes after, on top of the New York, what was it, the Washington Post, that the impeachment begins, and we want to call that a smooth transition. And now the Democrats sit there and want to have a smooth transition to Biden. And
Yeah.
basically, what they're doing, what they always say, that, well, Trump's bullying people. Well, what the fuck do you think that the
Yeah.
Democrats are trying to do?
Yeah. And when they briefed Trump, Comey, it was a setup for the dossier. Remember, he went in there to set him up for the dossier when he was supposed to give him a security briefing. So they didn't even give him any security briefing, really. So I don't know
And
what
come
he's talking about.
and come to find out, through Dan Bongino, is that the Steele dossier wasn't even written by Christopher Steele. You know, what was it, Brenner, and this one, I forgot the lady's name, man. It was like a year ago. And I know, as I said, it's so much information because he gave so much information that Dan Bongino always said, he always says, remember the names, remember the names. Dan, there's too many. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, there's too many names, man. You gotta sit there and actually get his books just to get all the names and stuff like that. But this is a real. I'm sitting there watching everybody in the United States through the Facebook, social media, and just watch this complete ignorance, stupidity, dumbassery, fuckery. You know what I'm saying? And you can tell that nobody's reading, nobody's researching, nobody's looking for this information. Just like I sit there and put on this post right here. You know what I'm saying? Doing that, thanks to Carolyn, doing the Dominion actually working on the COVID results. Now that should tell you something. Now we have Dominion Diagnostics, not just with the election itself, but also recording COVID results. And then all of a sudden all of a sudden you see that now they got COVID pneumonia. I'm wondering when that's going to start. I'm thinking after the new year, or when or when and if, you know what I'm saying, which I hope not, Biden goes in office. You know what I'm saying? And then what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do then? Wait, like hypothetically, say, how do you think that we are going to live? I just showed you. You know what I'm saying? What's going to happen when Biden goes into office? You know what I'm saying? That's just a small snippet. A couple of days ago, I showed you a video inside Germany when there was a doctor. He was talking about COVID and all that stuff like that, and the police came and took his ass away. What's going to happen to me? I'm sitting
Was that the
inside my
video you showed where the cops broke open the door and arrested him live while he was on
Yes.
YouTube or something?
Yes. And I'll be sitting there doing a video or something like that. It could happen to me. You know, it could happen to me. It could happen to you. It could happen to pro-life. You know what I'm saying? It can happen to Maurice Delk. It can happen to all these YouTubers that you sit there and you see every day, that's sitting there trying to give you the truth and having an equal platform that everybody can actually speak their mind. You know what I'm saying? Take the repercussions if they're wrong. You know, but just all of a sudden be live, and all of a sudden you hear the cops come. You may hear gunshots. You may hear gunshots on my part. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. Then you know what? Don't cry for me, Argentina, because I went out like a soldier. Okay, you want to fuck with me? You know, got to. And it's scary, man. It's scary. I sat there, man, and I was talking to my family earlier today. You know, and I told my mother, I was like, you know what, man? I says, I realize that I'm alone on this. You know what I'm saying? I realize that they can possibly take me. Do I think they care? One side, no. You know what I'm saying? Because I think they're content. I do. I mean, that's what I feel. I'm not saying what it is, but you know what though? I think they're afraid. You know, and I'm saying this on TV. I'm saying this on my podcast. I mean what I say. I say what I mean. You know what I'm saying? But I know for a fact that if anything did happen, I know for a fact that they won't fight for me. You know, and it's sad that I feel that way. You know what I'm saying? But I know they won't fight for me because they're in their own thing, and I really believe that my family will take the vaccines, and I won't. And it says in Timothy 2, that families are going to be split up. You know what I'm saying? Due to not just political ideologies, but the ideology of just fear, and that's what this new world order wants you to be. Fearful. You know what I'm saying? Fearful for your health and all that. Be fearful for other people's health and not your own. And it's sad. It's very sad. I mean, I sat there and basically lost a job because of this, because I stood up. I didn't stand up as in being ignorant, but I stood up in class and dignity and intelligence and practicality, you know, and they just let me go because of it and just made up a big lie. Am I mad about it? No. Am I upset about it? Nah. Just because I asked what is the scientific significance of wearing a face shield that's going to protect me versus a mask, they didn't like it. They didn't like it. And then the best answer they can come up was, oh, it's better something than nothing. And then a question comes, but I didn't say it, but it came into my mind. Well, if this COVID virus is airborne, then what's the use of wearing a face shield? You know, I go, I'd rather have it. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather catch COVID and take my chances. You know, and if I
Well, the
have to
thing
be
is not
quarantined,
all masks are created equal. And if
true.
there really was true about the mask, they would have a standardized mask that you would have to wear, because a virus is smaller than bacteria. So you would
Right.
make sure that it could filter that out. And then
What?
plus, if you cover your mouth, it can still enter through your eyes, through the mucous
Right.
membranes in your eyes. So there's
Right.
lots of ways for it to enter your body other than you breathing it in.
If they're saying it's airborne, folks, let's sit here. Let's look at this logic. Let's look at basic anatomy. Okay, in the way in the way that these things work. They said it's airborne. You have your eyes, you have your nose, you have your ears, you have your mouth, and now they're saying that you have to wear a mask inside your house during Thanksgiving with your family and all this. They are literally telling you how to be around your family, and y'all just bowing down to this 1984
Yeah.
Aurelian order.
Yep.
You know,
California opened up strip clubs and closed churches. So apparently, if you go in a strip club, you're immune to the virus. But if you go to church, you're going to get COVID.
now then when we go to sit there and go out of being a lab in Wuhan, all right. So this is a lab. These people are wearing bodysuits, messing with this virus. Sitting as messing with this virus. So if they have full suits on, you know what I'm saying, messing with a virus, then who's more protected? Us wearing a mask, or those cats wearing full body suits?
Yeah, with respirators and everything. They don't even breathe the outside air.
Yeah, they're not even breathing the outside air, but they're expecting us to sit there and wear a mask. And I urge y'all, man, to not wear a mask. Don't. And I don't care if I get kicked off of Facebook. I don't care if I get kicked off of Twitter. Because if this happens, then you'll see me on Rumble and and BitChute.
Yeah. See, I have a question. Is like, if your mask is working supposedly, why are you worried about me wearing a mask? As long as you're wearing a mask, aren't you protected? I mean, why are you so
Right.
concerned that I have to wear a mask if you're wearing one?
Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't get. People don't think shit through. They're not thinking through this whole shenanigan. You know, I mean, this is basic common
And I've even
sense.
heard them say, they say, well, the mask isn't really to protect you, it's to protect others.
Well, what
How?
about me? Yeah, okay, but what about me? What about my health that has asthma? What about John? What about John's health? He's in a wheelchair, and God knows what stuff that has that's happening to him. You know, what about these other people have heart problems, all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we are going to catch colds. We are going to catch viruses. You just got to sit back and pray to God.
Well, I've noticed that you never hear anything about the flu anymore. I mean, aren't we
No,
in flu season? I don't hear
right,
anything about flu shots or nothing. Nobody talking about the flu.
right. No commercials, no flu shot commercials, no nothing. You know, we're just sitting there, just taking it, have our butt cheeks spread out, taking it up the asshole. You know what I'm saying? And liking it and obeying it. You're right. You're right, CDC. You're right, HWO. You're right. You're right. And then all through the summertime, all through the spring, this whole election time, they were talking about, oh, we have to have people in and all that stuff like that within the house. And then they're pushing these mail-in votes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then through using this COVID pandemic, you know what I'm saying? I stress pandemic, kick me off Facebook. I gives a fuck and fuck you. Look at my left hand corner. Free speech USA, dear Mr. Zuckerberg. You know what I'm saying? I mean what I say what I mean, and I don't give a damn. You know, and it's sad. It's sad to sit there and watch these people, you know what I'm saying? Only thing, as I says, only thing I see is wolves and fish.
Yeah. And now they said, oh, even if you have the vaccine, you still got to wear a mask.
Right.
What? What? I thought you said that
What?
when we got the vaccine, we weren't going to need the mask anymore. Now, oh, now you got to still wear the mask, even though you get the vaccine. Or even if you've had it before, you still got to wear a mask. Because supposedly,
Right.
if you've had it, you're immune now, right? But
Right.
they still
I
got to
mean,
wear that mask.
this is. I mean, look. I go. If you want to sit there and look at a more simpler point of view on this, right? It's like this, man. This is the introduction to Sharia law on blame steroids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And only
Yeah.
reason being I'm saying this is because
Next, they'll
I
want us
live
to wear a burqa.
right.
You know what a burqa is, right? That's the full
Oh,
outfit.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Or a hijab.
Completely cover your whole body, cover your mouth, cover your face.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is where it's coming to. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, and here's where I am on this. Okay, all right. And as I said, this is truth. This is from the heart. If you want to wear a mask, go right the fuck ahead to wear a mask if it makes you happy. But don't force me to wear a mask because you're protecting yourself. And you know what? You ain't doing nothing to me.
Yeah. And if masks
You ain't
work, why are you afraid? You know what I mean? I mean, I don't that's
right.
what I say. I don't that makes sense. If the masks work and you're wearing a mask, why are you worried about others?
Right. Why are you worried about others? This is to save yourself. You're not saving me.
Or the mask doesn't work and it's just a compliance issue. You know what I mean?
Right. It's only them two things. You know what I mean? So you know what, man? Fuck wearing a mask on a four wheel. I'm not. If people don't want to be my friends and don't want to be around me because I'm not wearing a mask, fine. You know? And it goes for friends, it goes for families, it goes foes. I really don't give a fuck. If you go, what about your family? What about your mother? What about your father? What about your friends and all that? I said, if they catch it and they die, it's their time. You know, because I look, as I says, if they're not going to be there for me when the shit goes down, when shit goes down, when the shit hits the fan, then why should I be there for them? You know, and it's a sad way of looking at it. Only thing is put my prayers and feel bad and hope they got saved. You know, and
Yeah.
I'll go, hey, you know what? And I'm going to tell you what, it's a very tormenting way to think for me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to lie. It bothers me that I have to think this way because everybody has a choice. Everybody, everybody is somewhat a master of their own destiny. I stress somewhat a master because we are
Yeah,
given choice by God.
yeah.
You
Life
know,
is full of
and
threats. You
right.
know, when you walk outside, the sun is bombarding you with radiation, which causes cancer, but yet we still go outside. I mean, there's things
Mm-hmm.
that we do in life that is risky, but we still do it because we're willing to take that risk.
Right. And I'm smoking now. I'm on like ultra light basic
Yeah,
cigarettes that I'm smoking air, and I shouldn't even be smoking.
yeah.
You know what
I
I'm
mean, look how many
saying?
people die
But
from the flu every year, but we've never heard anybody say lockdown or wear a mask to stop the influenza or you know.
yeah, everybody has to get
Even
a
when they
blame
had the
shot.
H1N1, they didn't do that, or the swine flu, they didn't do that. You know, Ebola, they didn't do that.
Right, right. You know, so we're sitting there just so we're just sitting there just looking at this man, and I'm watching people. Like I went into Target today, and all these cats were. I tell you what, it's funny because everybody doing their Christmas shopping because they're getting their Black Friday sales and all that stuff like that. And I think I saw. I mean, there was like probably about I say at least 200-300 people in the store, right? And I saw 10 people not wearing a mask. You know, and I'm like, wow, dude, wow.
Well, Oregon governor just said that if you have 6 people in your house, they're going to arrest you and you spend 3 to 5 days in jail if you during
Right.
Thanksgiving if you have more than 6 people at your house.
And you know what, man? I hope you have
So if
20, man.
so if you're a mother and father and you have 5 children, I guess you got to kick one of your children out.
Uh huh.
You know,
Oh yeah, yeah. Or else you
I
got,
mean
or else if you have a lot of children, you got kicking. You have your parent, and you have both sides of your parent. You have your mother, the mother and father, of both sides of your family. One of them can't show up to your house because that's over the limit.
yeah.
You know, I mean, really, really. You know, what's that conspiracy box? I mean, this is where we're at. This is Orwellian. This is 1984. This is control. My brother sat there, right? He sat there, came and threw me some Bible verses about washing hands, this, and how they had to wear masks 3,500 years ago. I'm like, you know what? And I didn't say much. I'm talking about it now. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not into these Bible wars. Okay, like it's like take this, take like it's basically for me. Take this dogmatic, controlling religion bullshit and stuff it up your ass. You know what I'm saying? And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Like this shit right here isn't biblical the way you're using it.
Yeah.
You know, of course we have to wash our hands. Of
Well,
course,
a lot of there's preachers and monks that take care of the people that have leprosy. You know,
right.
and even though they did it without fear because they thought they were doing what's godly, and they would
Right.
work with people with leprosy.
But this was manufactured. All right. And you know what was funny is, and like a lot of people don't know that lives in rural parts of the United States. You know what I'm saying? Away from the metro areas and stuff like that. I lived in Las Vegas. So I used to always question because there's a lot of Chinese people that came in and out of Las Vegas. I mean, I've seen a lot of Chinese people in and out of Las Vegas. I mean, especially coming up around this time of year. You know what I'm saying? When the Chinese New Year comes out, there's a whole slew of Chinese people, and most of them blame cats are wearing masks. And I always had a question for years, like, why are these cats wearing masks? And then come to find out in 2019, I was there from 2006. I left 1 year to 2019. All right. Well, I left for 2 years and came back. Right. And still wearing masks. And this is I got back in 2017, 2018, then 2019 came, and that's when in 2019, the beginning of 2019, that's when the mask. But the Chinese were always wearing masks, And now all of a sudden, everybody here in the United States is wearing masks. So my question is this: what the fuck is happening? What the fuck were they doing in China if they were wearing masks? Oh, well, it was just a pollution and all that. You know what, man? I go at this point, and the way the United States is right now is, what else did they have in China that they had to wear a mask and they were wearing masks here?
Well, one difference though is, Jay, is that we have the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. China doesn't have it. So they tell them to put masks on. They're going to put masks on or go to re-education camps. So they don't have a choice in the matter what their government tells them.
But in
But
America,
we have freedom. We have freedom to choose our destiny.
yeah,
So if we want to go out and catch COVID, that's our right.
right, you know, I mean, but still, it still comes to mind. You know what I'm saying? It still comes to mind that these cats were doing it every, I mean, for years, from 2006 that I've been there all the way to 2020.
Yeah,
All
but
right,
think of this,
no
Jay.
lie.
Where does most of these things come out of? The swine
China,
flu, the bird flu.
right?
Yeah. So if I lived in
So
China, I would probably be wearing something too,
so
because
so
everything
yeah,
seems to come from China.
so then it comes to mind, since you're on that track, John. Okay, then these past 10 years, 12 years, okay, what the fuck has been going on inside China? You know what I'm saying? This is from living out there in Las Vegas. What's been going on in China that have not been talked about? Oh, swine flu, here we go, and all that stuff you're saying. You know what I'm saying? What has China been doing to their people that these cats wear masks
Consolidating
pretending
power. They've been consolidating power. They just took back Hong Kong, and now they're talking about Taiwan, and Xi became president or whatever, chairman for life, so dictator for life.
right,
So they've been consolidating power over there.
right, and people just sit there and people just walk all nonchalantly, la 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 la, and really, I mean, this is a matrix. This is a matrix, man. And
And they told us in the book, One Belt, One Road.
right. Well, no, what was it called? What was it, Silk Road or whatever
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
Yeah,
But they told us that they plan on taking over the world.
right. So what do you want to do, Pinky? Take over the world like we always do, Pinky. Pinky in the brain type shit.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Wake up, wake up, wake up. And I'm so happy that California is waking up. I'm so happy that Ohio is waking up. I'm so happy that, people, and even people in DC are starting to wake up. Speaking of DC, this right here, Will Johnson was out, and I want to tell you what, though, Will Johnson's a cool dude. Too bad I've never got to really, really, what I'm saying, have an actual conversation, because every time he's on a panel, then we have somebody like AD or somebody trying to cuss him out. That actually pisses me off, because I really like to just to have a conversation with him. It was an honor to be on a panel with him. But damn, man, you know what I mean? Damn, these people that are so like ignorant, man. Somebody that's been in the game, somebody that, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, I would just like to have just a real intellectual conversation sometimes with these people. You know what I mean? And I mean, I'm gonna ask Mo if he can possibly, get a shout out to him to come on my panel, because I ain't gonna let none of these type people on my panel.
Joker, right? Joker's his mod.
No.
Joker's his mod, so Joker talks to him all the time.
Yeah, I like to. Yeah, I mean, I really like to have, what I'm saying, have a nice panel, talk about the issues and all that stuff like that, and just have a good time, I mean,
when you
I
see his
really,
name, it says Joe Kerr, Joe and then Kerr.
Okay, man,
You might have seen him in the chat room before.
Yeah, I just started looking at a computer about a month ago. It was on my phone
Yeah.
when I first started, so I'll be sure to look at the mods and stuff like that. But yeah, but I really like to get. Also, I shouted out to that what's his name, Crumb from
Yeah, yeah,
Washington
yeah.
D.C. Yeah, I shouted out to him and also sent him a link. So I hope he's watching or some Chandler Crump. That's what I
Yeah.
did. I said
Chandler, yeah.
yeah, because number one is he man. I can't wait till he grows up. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I really can't. I mean, I like to see him in action, man. I mean, he's in action now. He's an amazing young man. You know what I'm saying? And just to see him, I mean, kudos to. I remember seeing him. You know what I'm saying? Before the election, when he was out there just dogging them. You know what I mean? And I think he was only like 12 years old or something like that. You know, so that was just awesome for him. So I reached out to him. I reached out to Marcus Rogers, which I really want to do an interview. I reached out to him too, and I still got to get a hold of what's his name, ABL. He was a friend on my other Facebook, but I haven't reached out to him yet. That it's me. So I'll be reaching out to ABL as well. And if I and wait, I was just trying to bring some news. I was not trying to take sides. It was a breaking story. You know what? Is I want to tell you what though, man. Consider my show like a DJ at a club. You have a music request or a news request or anything like that, and you put it out there. Inbox me in my Facebook. Inbox me inside my parlor. Let me know because I'm not on them like right at the moment, but I usually have my phone with me and stuff like that. Then I'll transfer the links. And you know what? You have some news, I'll put it on there, man, and stuff like that. If you want to talk about it, you know what I'm saying? I'll send you a link, you know, because even though there's a news program, I mean, it's basically a news commentary type podcast and stuff like that. You know, it's like there's people. Some of y'all out there have things that I don't even have that I haven't seen. So you know what? While I'm out here, I'm learning too. You know, and I like to put different things up that I haven't seen for y'all can get a honest and true, unrehearsed opinion, commentary, and analysis of it. You know, and also have some fun. You know, so y'all are more than welcome to put articles in that you haven't seen and all that stuff like that you think that's news because I think this is way some news programs should be, you know, made. You know what I'm saying? Which is it can if you're a major mainstream, but on stuff like this, you know, man, bring it up, man. You know, that's why I haven't put a. That's why I didn't open the panel. And then once I open the panel, you know what I'm saying? Let's go in. We can discuss and just have a good time. But
Yeah.
speaking of
Can I say something
that,
real fast, Jay?
yeah,
While you
yeah.
I was just going to address Josh. You know, I think the reason why she's not an official anymore is because of the conflict of interest with General Flynn. If they need to get a pardon from Trump and then they say, "Oh, well, she was working for Trump, so it's an insider job," you know, so maybe it's a something like that where she has to basically like recuse herself, kind of thing, because it's a conflict of interest for her to work for the president and then work on General Flynn. So, but I don't know because she's still working on it. You just played the interview with her talking about she's still pursuing it, just like Lynn Wood. It's just that they're not official Trump legal
No
team anymore.
respect. No.
Right. Sorry about that.
No, go ahead. I was done.
Oh, okay. This right here was this was today. No. I think this was, I mean I'm not sure what day it was. This is new from Will Johnson. You know, he was out there on the streets. This was during the I think this was during the MAGA march. No, not the MAGA march. No, it looks no. This ain't MAGA. This looks like Atlanta. Yeah, this is in Atlanta. Excuse me. This was yesterday, and this is anger with the
I think this is
BLM.
a stop the steal protest.
Yeah, this was a stop the steal protest, and BLM anger toward peaceful protesters. And as I showed you, I showed you the protesters that was on the MAGA side. So let's look at the protesters, the counter protesters on the BLM side, because as I said before, this is a non biased platform. You pick your side, but this ain't the side that I'm on. But they also deserve, you know, they also deserve the news for it, But also, he's also Josh. He is right. That would be because it says if you actually watch the news and the narratives that they spin, you know what I'm saying? They'd make something of it if she was actually part, like really was like linked to the Trump team, the Trump illegal team, because that's what they have been doing all the time. You know what I'm saying? No matter what we turn, if you paid attention. Not saying that you're trying to be a troll or anything like that, but what John said is valid. And yeah, it's legal mumbo jumbo, but that's legal mumbo jumbo is fact. Anyways, let's check this out. I gotta go back on here. Pal.
Seen the body cam? Have you seen the body cam footage? Have you seen the body cam footage?
So this man just went live. That's what that was.
Now, with such uncertainty in the
Shout out to
market,
Will Johnson.
You might be wondering what's going to happen to your retirement plan. Well, Noble Gold has the answer. Start with a qualified.
Hey Jay, when you play these videos, always say fair use. Fair use.
Oh yeah, fair use.
Incredible, solid 24 karat American gold.
Wait, let me. I'm gonna
a
get.
beautiful presentation box with gold set take off. There's never.
We don't like shitty neighborhoods.
Okay.
We don't like shitty neighborhoods. We don't like shitty neighborhoods. Clean it up. Clean it up. We'll come by. Clean it up. Clean it up. Spit on me, bitch. Spit on me, motherfucker. Spit on me. What you gonna do? Oh, there's Mighty Mouse. There's Mighty Mouse. Hey, you can't wear a vest. Hey, why can't he? We back the blue, man. Hey, we back the blue. Hey, we back the blue. But I'm standing with my back to you. Hey, but I'm a bitch. There you go. But this whole crew, there you go. They got me shook. There you go. They don't. There you go. Good man. Clench your jaw. Clench your jaw. No, fuck that. Clench your fucking jaw. I don't need no protection. Clench your fucking jaw. Yeah, y'all better back up, homeboy. Back the blue! Back the blue! Back the blue! Hey, they're hitting the cops, man. Back the blue! Back the blue! Back the blue! Don't listen to these racist liberals. Don't listen to these racist Democrats. We support the men and women in blue. We don't listen to you racist liberals. Oh! Oh! Yes. Attacking the police. Attacking the police right there. Back up. Take a line. Hey, form a line. Another peaceful protest by BLM. We support the men and women in blue. We support the police officers. We're thankful for the police officers. You're a racist. You're a white racist. You're a white racist. We support the men and women in blue. You're the racist. You're the white liberal racist. You're the problem in this country.
And who's the majority of the cops facing? Not the MAGA, not the MAGA cats.
No, I'm not. I support the men and women in blue. You're the racist one. We need more police officers.
You're a racist.
You need to respect the men and women in blue.
Yes, you are. You
They need
support Planned Parenthood.
They need more funding.
You support Planned Parenthood. You are a murderer, baby killer, baby killer. You murder black.
Sorry,
babies.
they kicked me off for some reason.
Murder black
Oh.
babies. You murderer, black baby murderer. Margaret Sanger, Google it. Now, who threw that piece at me? Come on forward. Me and you, come on forward.
See, no respect. No respect.
Whoever
You
threw
white
it is
liberals,
a coward.
you white liberals have no
Whoever
respect.
threw it is a coward.
And I guess you feel it's your duty to tell black people their lives matter, don't you? Because you see black people as victims.
People like these motherfuckers right here that Black Lives Matter because they killed a black man on these streets.
But tell them to stop being criminals. Tell black people to stop being criminals. Go into the black neighborhood to tell the black children that has fatherless to stop being criminals. He was a criminal.
I hope you rot in fucking hell.
He was a criminal. Breonna Taylor was a criminal. Breonna Taylor was a criminal. The police officers are doing their jobs. We need police officers in this country. We support the men and women in blue. I can't hear you, dude. I can't hear you, dude. I can't hear you, dude. I mean, seriously, dude. You have to speak up, dude. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, dude. Oh, I look dumb. Really? Looking at you and you say I look dumb.
Thank you. Get me on your camera, dumb. You want to talk about them? Breonna Taylor, though? What the fuck gets you the
Breonna Taylor was a criminal. Breonna Taylor was a criminal. She was a criminal.
Murdered her to gentrify her fucking neighborhood.
She's a criminal. And you're racist. You're a racist white liberal. You're the racist white liberal. We need more police officers. They need more personnel. They need more funding. Do you understand how ignorant you sound? Why are you going to defund them? Look at all the who are committing homicides. The black people are committing homicides on other black people.
And maybe if you got off your ass and did something about it, crime wouldn't be an issue.
Really?
At the end of the day, crime is based in success.
Who's committing the crimes? Who's committing the crimes?
The police.
The police. You know how ignorant that is?
Wow, man.
Breonna Taylor tried to shoot at the cops. She deserved everything she got. She deserved everything she got. You've been brainwashed by the liberal media. You've been brainwashed. You've been brainwashed.
Brainwashed. White racist.
You don't like to hear the truth because the truth hurts.
Let them be the little attack dog.
You don't like to hear the truth because the truth hurts.
Little girls on their side.
Seriously.
Little girls and no balls.
What? You care to make a comment?
Little girls and no balls.
Care to make a comment? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Huh?
Good. They should be here. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm in America. I want to keep this country free. I've seen the body cam. Have you seen the body cam footage? Have you seen the body cam footage?
Smack the shit out of you.
Oh, now you're mad because you're hearing the truth.
Smack the shit out of you.
You're mad because you're hearing the truth. You're mad because you're hearing the truth. Breonna Taylor was a thug. She was a criminal. Now what? I seen the footage. I seen the footage. I seen the footage. Breonna Taylor was a thug. You believe what the media's been telling you. Believe all the lies, and that's why you feel the way you're feeling right now. I'm not lying to you. You've been lied to, though.
Speaking the truth.
Seriously.
Your little white girl attack
The police officers did their job. And I want to encourage police officers to continue doing their jobs. I'm thankful for the police officers. Go ahead. Go ahead. I can't hear you, though. Speak up.
0 balls, 100% fraud.
What study do you have against the proven ballistics on Breonna Taylor's case?
The body cam footage. The body cam footage.
The body cam footage can tell you what gun fired?
The body cam footage will tell you what Breonna Taylor did and why the police officers did their jobs.
You realize it was dark in that apartment. So body
I'm sorry?
You realize it was dark in that apartment, so.
Right. So exactly. So when the police officers are getting shot at, what do you expect them to do? Call for social services? Do you understand how ignorant that is?
I haven't interrupted you. Let me have my shot.
If it's dark and they're getting shot at, what do you expect them to do?
See, that's the thing. You only have your side.
Come on, dude.
I know this is just content for you now.
It's a simple question. If the police officers are going to a place and they're getting shot at, what do you expect them to do? It's a simple question.
You put this down to like whatever pieces that you need for your content.
You don't. You're not capable of understanding what I'm telling you, are you?
No, because you keep interrupting.
Answer my question. Answer my question.
Answer the question.
If the police officers are being shot at, what do you expect them to do? It's a simple question. What should they do?
You know what, man? I think that, man, these kids, man, just don't think they don't think that black folks can do any wrong. I mean, that's the way I'm seeing with these kids. I mean, they're. I really don't get this. Right now, man, I'm getting ready to open up the
panel?
Yeah. Get some time. You want to put it out there? All right, let's see.
Look at the body cam footage. Look at the body cam footage.
Oh, they actually let me this time.
When they were interviewing the boyfriend. Know what you're
All right, some of y'all, panels open. If anybody got some thoughts? Well, I'm 48. They're kids. I'm old school. But the panel's open as we're watching this. You know, that's about it. What I got. So yeah, that's what I got so far. I went through all these tabs. If anybody got any more tabs, wait. You have one more, right?
Which one?
You said another one on Dominion.
Oh yeah, that Dominion Diagnostics.
I did that one already.
Yeah, you did it.
Wasn't there a video or something that you put up?
Yeah, I sent it to you on Messenger. It's right above the Sidney Powell one.
Okay.
How? Talk to them. They're right here. Do you think they're racist? How? I've been around him for the last couple hours.
Fucking president that puts kids in cages. That put my family in cages.
Who built those cages? Obama built those cages.
I'm not out here saying vote for Obama. I'm out
But
here
you
saying
were
that
out here when
cops are
Obama
getting
was
away
in
with
there.
murder. I'm out here saying cops are getting away with murder.
It's okay when Obama.
Why is a white woman telling a black man how to live?
Oh yeah, the DominionDiagnostics.com. Okay, I did that one.
Yeah. Why is a white woman telling a black man how to live?
I have no clue, man.
I do. Yeah, can I get it? Literally, I'm holding all of the. Well, you know, what I've learned is that when you give leftists your tag and stuff, they have connections with people in like Facebook and Twitter and Google to try to get people taken up. No, I'm not talking about doxing. I'm talking about trying to silence us because they don't want conservatives to speak. Liberals don't want conservatives to speak.
You like the videos that I'm producing? You like the information that I'm bringing? Please consider.
Okay.
I want to unite.
Hold on 1 second. All right. That says have the panel open pretty soon. Ice Blue, if you want to go in, there's. Oh man, hold on. I gotta go to this other one. I hear myself.
You got to stop that video.
Yeah. This is the. says I have the panel open pretty soon. Nice move. You want to go in? There's okay. I drive sometimes, man. You end up confusing yourself, man, when you because you're hearing everything else.
Yeah.
Y'all don't hear it, but I do, and sometimes you get all confused and stuff like that. But this is where we are in America, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'm glad people are waking up, but we need more. You know what I'm saying? Kudos to the ones that are, and we gotta keep on, man. Just bringing this message out, man, because it's crazy. So I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes for the panel. If people want to come on, the link is up. Then after, if not, I am going to just chill out and hold it down. I mean, chill out and lay it down, and probably see me on another panel. Make sure you share. You can find me um, on Parlor, Minds, Gab, Facebook, and you can find these on YouTube. If I get kicked off of YouTube, I'll be uploading to Rumble, and then I won't be doing these live. I'll be actually recording them and stuff like that. Because I don't think they got. Was there anywhere? Oh no, D Live.
I thought
D Live.
Rumble you can't go live.
Can you go live? I don't know because I've never really got on. Can we go?
Oh.
Anybody know if we can go live on Rumble?
D Live you can, yeah. D Live I know you can. I don't know about Rumble. I haven't been on there yet.
Yeah, I haven't been on there yet. I mean, I got an account, but I just haven't been on there yet. And stuff like that. That's the way it gotta be now. You know what I'm saying? That once we get kicked off, we can't get our message through and all that stuff like that. It's time we make that transition to other platforms and hope that BitChute and D Live. I got BitChute account too, but I hope that B Live, BitChute, BitChute and Rumble. I don't know if you can go live, but I'll find that out and stuff like that. But I'm gonna sit there and call it tonight, man. Thank everybody for coming and all that stuff like that. And in a way, it's good. It's not that a lot of people's not going on. As I says, man, sometimes I feel though sometimes being on doing these panels, do they want to be on all night, a couple hours, and you just
12
doze
out,
off.
13 hours, and 10 hours. That Kelly did.
Oh, Kelly did like 10 hours. Wow.
And a 13-hour one.
Oh, wow, man, wow. But I tell you what, though, man, y'all have a great night. You know what I'm saying? And watch, people's gonna start coming on when I sit there and I leave.
Yeah, Conspiracy Box is saying something to you in the chat.
Hello, what's happening? What's happening, Conspiracy Box? What's happening? Are you home? I'm checking my chat. I go, give me time. I'm in the middle of thought. I go, it's a lot to look. It's a lot to look at, and sometimes I'm not even on this page where the studio is because I'm looking at other stuff. If you want to come on a little bit, as I says, I'm not on this page the whole time I'm on here. Conspiracy Box. I don't have a producer to sit there and look at the stuff all the time. I go, it's more a job than anything else. I mean, I understand where Mo's coming from. It's a lot of work, which it is. I ain't gonna lie, man. It's a lot of work just to make this stuff go smoothly. But I know, but still, I gotta look at one screen at a time. I mean, shoot, give me a break. Okay, it's all good. No worries. It's a lot. It's a lot, man. A lot to look at. But anyways, man, do you want to come on? Do you have anything to say? The link's up there if you want to come in. Going once, going twice, because I'm doing my outro, man. And stuff like that. So if you want to come on through. I gotta change this up. Okay. Hold on 1 second. See, I'm not on that screen at the moment. Now I'm back. Oh, you gotta go? Okay, that's cool. All right then. Gotta go. And I'm looking real quick. Well, anyways, everybody have a good night. Nobody coming on. That's a cool thing. You know what I'm saying? Just for today, this open panel. We did a lot of news today. And if y'all have stories and stuff like that, tomorrow there'll be a lot more stories because it's Monday, the new news cycle and all that stuff like that. And basically, it's a recap of the week. And everybody just have a wonderful day. And like I always say, fuck you, Zuckerberg, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Google. Peace, and we out of here, man. And you be cool like that, Joe. Joe, you sound like you sick, bro.
Am I? Nah, I'm okay.
You sure?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, just
It's
making
just
sure.
been raining and stuff, so
Yeah, it's been raining out here too and stuff like that. I understand. Well, everybody, man, have a good night, man. God bless, man. Happy Thanksgiving week. Get your say you love your family and all that stuff like that, man. And the biggest thing is unity. All right, man. Peace. I'm out.
all right. Have a good night.
All right. Hello? No, that's it, man. I just went out. I just went and got my phone.